thing. So give it up for the Zoom rules of the road, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
All right, before we move on with these killer guests that I have here tonight, it's time for your first segment every week here on Philly Comedy Club Presents the RUS GUTIN Experience here on Season 2, Episode 2. And that is QUARAN-BITS, where I let you know how my week in quarantine is going. Now, this is a little follow-up to Season 1, but if you've been following the show, you know that not only is Papa Russ a nut for video games and my PS4 Pro, I am also a nut for my new virtual reality setup and system on my PS4. PSVR is the absolute balls. I absolutely love it. I have played so many games, including Evasion and Blood and Truth. And in the last week and a half, I've been playing a lot of Star Wars virtual reality games like Vader Immortal, where I get a lightsaber, and Star Wars Rogue Squadrons, where I finally, for the first time in my life, get to fly an X-Wing or a TIE fighter. So it has been very exciting, and I love VR. Now, here's the thing, though, that I have learned about VR. Two things. Now, here's what you need to know about VR during the quarantine. I really love it because it's the only time that I really get to get outside of the house, if you understand. I only leave my home once a week in a hazmat suit to go grocery shopping. And I go very early in the morning to double social distancing. So there's really only the cashier and two other elderly Trump supporters in the Aldi. Like, that's how I try to run my life, okay? So I have not been around any people except my family here, okay? So when I do virtual reality, I really get to see the world. And as you might know about me, I am also an actor. I went to school for musical theater. So when I do virtual reality, I get really fucking into it, okay? I wear the costumes, I set myself up and everything. Like when I played Blood and Truth, where you're like a British gangster, one day I just put on a full suit, shirt and tie. I wanted to have the full Jason Statham experience, okay? When I played the Creed boxing game from the Rocky movies, I put on these Apollo Creed looking Sixer shorts, okay? And no shirt. And I hiked up my ankle socks all the way past my calves with the giant helmet on my face. So picture that. You're welcome, America, okay? And if they had a pirate themed game, I swear to you, my wife would come downstairs and she would see me in a full, long, red Captain Hook setup. And I'd be like, because when I do VR, I go all the way because I'm an actor, okay? But here's what I have learned about virtual reality, about real reality, is I know going forward that we are always going to wear masks in social situations, okay? This is how I discovered it. Because I was playing Star Wars Rogue Squadrons the other night, where I got to be in a flight simulator and fly an X-Wing and a TIE fighter. And what I did was, I zipped up my bomber jacket, my Eagles bomber jacket, so I could feel the full, Top Gun experience of flying an X-Wing. And yes, it is an Eagles bomber jacket, because even in the galaxy far, far away, I got to represent the birds, okay? All right? I bleed green even in space, okay? In space, no one can hear you bleed green. And all of a sudden, during the game, there I was as an X-Wing pilot having a briefing with my squadron for a big mission against the Empire. And all of a sudden, I look to my left and I look to my right, and I am surrounded by more people than I have ever been surrounded by since March. There's like 7 or 8 people around this briefing table, and absolutely naturally, totally automatically, I reached into my pocket, grabbed my mask, and masked up. So I realized that I am social distancing in virtual reality. It was such a natural reaction. And then I thought to myself, oh my God, is there anything the pandemic and Trump cannot ruin, including video games? These motherfuckers, okay? So that's how I know that this is not something that's going to go away for a long time. So give it up for my virtual reality QUARAN-BIT. Okay, I've got one more for you guys.
Woo!
Okay, now this week, I'm very lucky to have Nick Angelo from Rust Belt Rivals on the show to talk about Eagles Steelers. So we have a little bit of a sports theme this week. And as you know, I'm a Bleeding Green Eagles fan. But what I want to tell you is that my son, Rocco, okay, is, well, much to my chagrin, not as into football and the Eagles as I would like at this stage. You know what I mean? He's 9 years old. But he is into football and the Eagles as much as he is into the chicken wings, chicken fingers, and french fries that we order from Chickies and Pete's during the football game. So I would say that my son is interested in the chicken aspect of football. He's in it for the chicken, okay, people? But, and this has been a little disappointing to me, but I am finally getting through to him, and I have proof due to homeschooling, okay? Because here's a little quick story. Earlier this week, his gym teacher at school, through virtual schooling, was doing football activities with them for the week for gym class, throwing a football, maybe punting the football, okay? And I know his gym teacher, okay? And he is a diehard Giants and Mets fan. How embarrassing. Can you imagine walking through life and trying to hold your head up high while being a Giants and a Mets fan? What a fucking horrible, horrendous existence that must be. And that is coming from a Philly sports fan. I feel bad for this guy. But you know what? I'm dropping off Rocco in the old world. We were always talking that smack to each other. You know, no big deal. So he's doing his virtual gym class and he's doing his football activities. And then he says to the students in Rocco's class, you can use any football you want except a Eagles football. Except an Eagles one. Okay? And then, as I'm being regaled this story by my son, who is not into football, who is only into football for the chicken finger aspect of football, goes on to the public comment section where all of his classmates can see it, and he says, why no Eagles football? Because we're in first place? Sick burn, right, Dada? And there I am, my mother watching Yentl, Jew tears coming out of my eye. I was so proud. I was like, oh my God, my work is done here, everybody, okay? Because not only did my son talk shit to a Giants fan, but he did it to his teacher, an authority figure, in a very public way. That is the true mark of an Eagles fan, because we absolutely fucking despise authority. Have you ever seen the way that we treat referees, okay, ticket vendors, or people that ask us to please disperse from the parking lot at 2 a.m. after a Monday night game? So give it up for me for being a great Eagles dad, ladies and gentlemen. I did it. Okay.